Okay, it is 1 minute after. That's all I can allow for being late, no longer than that. Good morning, everyone. My name is Anthony McPherson. I will do a formal welcome to you guys in a second. Wanted to start by introducing you to the technology chair of DuPage County, Inaugural, who's the driving force behind this discussion and this roundtable. She and I have had a series of conversations about sharing best practices, working with municipalities, having us partner with each other, right, to strengthen our technology environments and support teams. So thank you to Chair Yu, but I'll let her start with our welcome.
Thank you, Anthony. Hello, everybody. My name is Ina Yu, and I am Chair of Technology Committee for DuPage, and it is my distinct pleasure to welcome you to the inaugural DuPage County Municipal Roundtable. You know, shortly after being appointed as Technology Chair, I realized very quickly how integral our tech department is to the working of the county and the vast wealth of expertise and resources we have at County IT. And so we considered how the county could share in these resources and further support our municipalities, which resulted in talks about this roundtable. So I am really happy to see all of you here in person and online, and so grateful to many people, including Cheryl Marquet, Suzette Quintal over at DMMC, and all of our county staff, especially Anthony McPherson, our Chief Information Officer, for bringing today's roundtable to a reality. These meetings are purposefully designed to unite DuPage County's technology leaders and subject matter professionals to foster an environment where we can collectively discuss best practices, troubleshoot critical issues, and share exciting initiatives and collaboration opportunities. We ultimately aim to enhance the technology experience for all of our residents and our staff. Today's agenda, as you know, has many exciting topics, marking the beginning of what promises to be a series of enriching discussions. And thank you again for your participation. I really look forward to hopefully what will be insightful conversations ahead. And so I'm going to pass the baton back to Anthony, our CIO, to lead today. Thank you very much, Judy. Appreciate those wonderful words of welcome. So welcome, everyone. As Chair, you said, this will be a great opportunity for us going forward to work together, to collaborate, to share, and to hopefully make technology better and stronger throughout DuPage County. So the agenda is here. I think I sent it out to you guys as part of the invitation. There is quite a bit that we're going to cover during today's session, so I'll jump right into it. All right, so first thing I'd like to do is have, I know some of you guys, and I've got an opportunity to meet some of you guys this morning, but let's do some intros. Let's please get to know who's both online and who's in the room. So I'll start. Anthony McPherson, the Chief Information Officer for DuPage County Government. Been here at DuPage for about 3 years, working with a fantastic team of IT professionals you get a chance to meet today. And I'm hoping that you guys will not only meet them, but take the contact information down, build relationships, and work with them moving forward. So, Richard.
Richard Burnson. I am the Deputy CIO for DuPage. I've been here all of 3 days. So getting up to speed on everything, coming from Chicago Public Schools, where I was Executive Director of IT Infrastructure. One of my biggest projects is building out a fiber network throughout the city for all the schools. So some of the cities are similar fiber projects, so we hear more about what we're going to be doing.
I'm Larry Kravitz. I'm the IT Director for the City of Elmhurst.
Michelle Mackey, Cybersecurity Analyst for DuPage County.
Pat Keegan, IT Director for the City of Wheaton. So excited to be here at the round table, but we might need a new table.
Van Banda, Village of Woodridge.
Mike Sampy, Village of Addison IT Manager, and also the Addison Consolidated Dispatch Center.
Todd Gilbert, I'm with IT Director of Village of Oakbrook. I'm also the Vice President of Management for GMIS, Illinois.
Welcome.
Tia Messino, I'm the Assistant City Administrator for the City of West Chicago, and I oversee our IT services contract.
I'm Judd Gerstein. I'm the IT Director of Village of Hanover Park.
Tony Manarino, Village of Bloomingdale, IS Director. I've been told no questions about Stratford Mall, so I'm not ready to talk about that.
John Peebles, Village of Bartlett, Network Administrator for now.
Glenn Milchberg, IT Director with the Village of Westmont and also on the Municipal.
Just the IT Operations Manager for the DuPage Sheriff's Office.
Bob Walters, I'm the IS Administrator for the Village of Glendale Heights. I've been there for 27 years. Like a sentence.
A lot of knowledge there. So it's a good thing. Yeah, in the back.
Mark Radwell, Village of Glendale Heights, I associate.
Jacob Wise, IT Consultant at Glendale Heights.
Jackie Nguyen, IT Director for City of Naperville.
John Ironhead, County IT. I manage the police records management system.
Tom Rigger, I'm the GIS Manager here at the DuPage County.
Joe Hamlin, I'm the Network Systems Manager here at DuPage County.
Alma Montero for the ERP applications here at DuPage County.
VG Ramaswamy, Applications Manager at DuPage County IT.
WDC Web Services Manager. I'm also on the board of NAGWA, which I'll talk about later.
Sarah Godzicki, I'm the Administrative Assistant for IT.
Thank you. And folks online, if you can just unmute, give your name, agency, organization, and your role.
I'm Jeff Davies. I'm the Director of IT for the DuPage County Circuit Clerk's Office.
Shanita Thompson, IT Operations Manager for DuPage County.
Aaron Scheckman, IT Manager for the Village of Lisle.
Larry Gunderson, Director of Information Systems for the City of St. Charles.
Mike Birdlick, DuPage County IT Manager.
Kevin Goldthals, Village of Lombard IT Manager.
Dave Kenny, IT Director, Village of Downers Grove.
Greg Tarmina, Deputy Director of ETSB.
Brian Sawyer, IT Manager for Village of Villa Park.
Alma Morgan. Alma Morgan. Oh, go ahead, Brad. Sorry.
No, good. Brad Miller, Orbis Solutions. We're outsourced IT for a number of different DuPage municipalities, including Warrenville, which Alma is from, and also a brand new GMIS member.
Nice.
I'll talk about that.
I'm Alma Morgan, City of Warrenville. I oversee the IT managed contract with Orbis.
George Schaefer, Village Administrator for Lamont.
Aaron Green, IT Supervisor, Chief Judge's Office here at DuPage County.
Anyone else online that we missed?
Jay Puckett, Public Works IT.
Jay? Is that it?
Kevin Vasky, Chief Deputy in the Circuit Clerk's Office of the Courthouse. Thank you.
Kevin. Anyone else? Going once.
And then Anthony, you know, I like to make an entrance.
You do, James.
Work always supersedes everything, but I'm James Farrell, the CIO with the Village of Bolingbrook. Just got to live Turning Golf Tournament for all you golf enthusiasts. Been in Bolingbrook for 17 years, and I am the president of one of the cities that do some similar things to what we're talking about right now. So if you've heard of GMIS, Illinois, we are the largest. We pretty much just had our 3-day conference. I'm always going to do a plug for GMIS because, again, I'm the president, but I'll let Anthony do the rest of the talking because I want to take his thunder there.
That's not a problem at all. Welcome, James. I'm glad you're here. Glad to see you here. So, all right. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate it. Good to meet everyone who have not met previously in the past. A lot of you I actually have met, and looking forward to working with the individuals that I don't know. And I think there's a lot of opportunity for us to do that. So we'll talk about more of that throughout the conversation today. So a few ground rules and expectations so that we're all on the same page. We know what to expect in this meeting and all of these sessions moving forward. So the first thing is punctuality is key. So we're going to respect your time. We're going to start on time. We're going to finish on time each and every time. So we value you as partners and the fact that you took the time. Many of you are in this room, which I'm amazed at. I thought most of you would join virtually, but it shows that there's a need for us to communicate and work together, and you guys want to do it and you want to participate. So thank you for that. So out of respect for your time, I'm going to start and finish on time. If we get to a point where in the agenda we start running out of time, we will reserve that topic and just talk about it at a later date, but we will not go over it for respect for your time. Please, relevant topics only. You have a big audience here. We want to talk about a lot of different things. You can talk about GMIS, that's okay.
You know I am.
But try to keep the topics to whatever our agenda items are. You will help us set the agenda. It will not be DuPage County IT. It will not be Chair you or anyone else. You will set the agendas. You'll let us know what are the topics at hand. What do you want to talk about? Whether you want to bring in speakers or not, we will include presenters. So for like emerging technologies, if you want us to bring in a subject matter expert, a company, or an application owner or something like that, we'll bring those folks in. But again, it'll be you telling us what we should talk about at each and every one of these. Active participation is important to us. I encourage everyone to speak up. There are no dumb questions here. There are no small issues. Speak up, let's talk. I don't want it to be just me or my staff communicating out to you. I want you to communicate to us. We communicate back, we share, we collaborate. Open communication is important. Again, it's very similar to the active participation. Just talk about your ideas, your expertise, what's going on. County IT has a lot of great experts that do a lot of good things. So do you. You are great experts that do a lot of great things. We're going to hear your ideas just as well, right? We want to hear about your issues. We want to hear about your pain points, so we can all work together to fix things. Confidentiality is important. So it is paramount that if we discuss anything, so for instance, if DuPage County has a ransomware attack, we may talk about some of the details. I ask for you to be respectful of that and not share those things outside of this discussion, right? This is amongst friends, amongst colleagues. So some confidential information may slip out. Please don't share that information outside of this discussion. We will make sure that we capture action items and follow-ups for you guys for the entire group, so we won't miss anything. This is an active group with it's an active conversation, but there'll actually be actionable items that we try to focus on moving forward. We want to make sure that it works for us and we don't just come here to talk and listen, right? And then last but not least, we want to improve. So we want to hear back from you. What makes sense, what's working, what's not working, what would you like for us to change and adjust as we go along. But this is your meeting. Even though I am facilitating, it's really your meeting, our meeting, all right? I just wanted to highlight, I won't spend a lot of time on this, the IT department and let you know who we are. We are what many call central IT here within DuPage County. We partner with a lot of great IT organizations. A lot of them you've heard of, like the Sheriff's Office. You've heard from Aaron from the Chief Judge's Office, Kevin, and Jeff from the Clerk of the Circuit Court. I think ETSB, our 911 partners are on, and many more, the health department. So we partner with them to come up with solutions that make sense for DuPage County, to come up with guidelines and policies. We have a separate technology roundtable just for those internal organizations. We're hoping to do the same thing with you guys, to share information, work together, collaborate, give tips, things of that nature. But the IT department is a small but mighty organization. We're 65 strong, but we cover a lot and we support a lot of individuals. As you can see, we have a very similar makeup to traditional IT support organizations. The reason I wanted you to see this functional org chart is because there may be areas on here that you're interested in, right, that we may not talk about today. So we had to make sure that we identify key topics that are relevant today, that are important to you, but there are other things that may come up. So for instance, we have a great telecom manager, Joe Balaga. He manages our AT&T, Comcast, Mitel accounts. You may want to talk to him about some of those things and what's going on with, in telecom. We are creating data analytics group for us to do a better job of presenting and managing data, not only to internal people here, but also to our residents. So you may want to talk to someone from Tom Ricker's group, who's in charge of data analytics. So just examples, we have a project manager in office and a project manager and best practices for IT project management. You may want to talk about that at some point. So just wanted you to be aware of what we do, who we are, and what the subject matter experts are. A lot of them are in the room today, so they'll weigh in as we go along. They'll weigh in on our specific topics, but you may have other questions, other things. They're here to answer those questions, okay? All right, so let's get into the meat of it. This part, I think, will take a little longer for us. And I'm sorry, let me take a step back. So the very last agenda item is open discussion. I want to let you guys know that now, because I'm going to defer to you. I'm going to open it up to you to talk about your technology, to talk about any technical issues that you have. It's really for you to really talk about what's going on in your space and for us to know about it. The only thing I ask is that if you can, try to stick to topics that pertains to the vast majority of the group or all of the group, right? So big topics like that. If it's just a specific thing just to your organization, if you'd like to brag, I'm okay with that. Or if you want to just share, you're more than welcome to do that. But the open discussion piece is really about you sharing technology related topics that could benefit the bigger group. Okay, so I'm telling you now because I want you to start thinking about it if you haven't already, and you can be ready to talk about it when we get to open discussion. All right, so in our discussions with internal IT or county IT, we came up with 4 areas that we thought would be good areas to start with, to start having conversations with this group about. Cybersecurity and IT security, we'll talk about that. Second, AI, which is a hot topic for all organizations. If you're not talking about it now, you'll be talking about it soon. I'll talk about it more in more detail in a second, but we were kind of forced to create a planning committee because our user base is asking the questions, right? ChatGPT is really hitting the road and running. They're already using it. So we had to try to get out in front of it and start planning. I'm sure you all have the same challenges. So let's talk about what we've done, what you've done, and maybe share some of those best practices. County shared services, so specifically GIS and police records management. We'll talk about those. There may be opportunities for more shared services. It depends on what you guys are looking for, what type of expertise. We can expand that. And then I'm going to hand it over to Debbie DC to talk about NAGWA. It's a phenomenal web organization for websites. It's basically web professionals in government specifically, right? So that you can sign up and be a part of. There's a DOJ rule that she wants to share with you, and then we'll talk about becoming a member. So jumping back up to cybersecurity and IT security. So I'll start with DuPage County, and then I'll open it up to you guys to kind of talk about where you are with cybersecurity. But a couple things we wanted to share up front is, number one, we'd like to create a task force with you guys. We think that it's critical and it's important for us to have that. Craig Diekman, who's the director of our Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, couldn't be here, and he has a slide that I'll cover his content, but it will be in partnership with that office and the IT department. But we'd like to open up and create a task force with you, talk about what's going on in cybersecurity, create an active group of individuals who can help us respond to any breaches that happen at any of our communities at any given time, right? So I'm sure you guys have individuals or maybe even teams of security people, 1, 2, 10, that's fantastic, but why not open it up to the entire county? Then you have 100 people who can help support you and get you up and going, and vice versa. So we have issues. We'd love to engage your cybersecurity IT SMEs to help us contain the problem, talk about what happened to you guys, help us avoid pitfalls, things of that nature. But we'll reach out to you guys after this discussion to see who's interested in being part of that task force. Who's ever interested, we want you to, raise your hands. You can lead it. Michelle Amonte is our cybersecurity specialist. She's here and willing to help us pull it together, and she can lead if possible. But if there's other municipalities who'd like to lead it, we're okay with that. So if there's an individual who's interested in leading it, helping us build it, build the structure around it, the guidelines around it, rules of engagement, that's what we're looking for. So we'll be reaching out to you after this discussion to solicit names. And then we'll schedule meetings as like a subcommittee for us to start the task force to get that together. So before I move on to the next point, any thoughts? Yes, sir.
So in GMIS, one of my goals is to make a statewide IT mutual aid plan for just that purpose. I mean, you're concentrating just on DuPage County, but everywhere that there's a 1 or 2 man shop, we'd like to get an IT mutual aid together because someone always needs help. You're a good 65 strong. You got a lot of manpower here to take over if cybersecurity comes in. But Village of Oak Brook was hit 2 years ago with cybersecurity, and it was a 1 man shop because they were in the system. And when the director went on the plane, that's when they hit. So it was only left with 1 person left. He's scrambling, getting a CSO to help put, CrowdStrike and stuff on the computers and unplug them and, get it back to working. But if there was a help, 1-800 IT help number that we can call to get other municipalities, if you have a body to spare, to come in because you trust your IT fellow man with a password. Yep. And if a pop-up comes up, they know not to click on it. But if you get a CSO to do it, they're just going to click away, and they might cause more harm than anything. So my initiative is to create an IT mutual aid, and I hope DuPage will come on board with that.
We're signed up. Done. We definitely so let me say two quick points, and I'll let everyone else chime in. And I am a talker, so I'll let you guys know that. So, yeah, so be patient with me. But number one, thank you very much for that. GMIS does a lot of great things. This, number one, this committee is focused on DuPage County, for sure. We're not trying to supplement what you guys, or we're not trying to replace what you guys are doing. It's just a supplement to what you
It's our mission to enhance the county experience.
Yeah, to enhance the county's experience. You guys are bigger, you're in the entire state. We're part of GMIS. So, and we will continue to be a part of GMIS, and we will contribute as much as we can moving forward. But it's a great idea. Number two, it's a great idea. We'll be definitely a part of it, and I hope the rest of the organizations will be too. Instead of you having to work with maybe individual municipalities and villages here, maybe you can work with our task force now, which makes it much easier for you in terms of communication and collaboration. So.
Yeah, I definitely like the sound of that, because with us, like I said, DuPage County, Bolingbrook is just a little sliver of DuPage County, which I actually live in DuPage County. But with our organization, we have members in Marion, Illinois. I don't know how many people know where Marion, Illinois, but that's the bottom of Illinois. But they're like a 1 or 2 man IT shop, so we try, and Tom, I'm fully behind his initiative because we want to reach out to those shops down there in Southern Illinois, because Illinois is huge, has so many entities that only have that 1 or 2 man shop. But we don't want to recreate the wheel. We would definitely want to partner with DuPage County, because whatever ideas you might have, that's what we can kind of integrate for the rest of the state. So I'm very excited to hear about that, because cybersecurity, that's where my master's degree is. I'm very passionate about that. And we should all be passionate about that, because, that should be our #1 goal, to keeping our organizations, secure. So I appreciate that. I love the sound of that.
Great, thank you. Okay. Anyone else? Any thoughts, questions, comments? Folks online, I can't see you, all of you. So if you want to just unmute when you have a comment, please feel free to do that. Or if you raise your hand, Sarah will let me know whose hand is raised, and I'll call on you. So any additional comments about this thoughts, but good idea generally, you guys think. All right, moving on, and in any given time, if you guys have additional comments, just weigh in. The ultimate goal is for us to share best practices, tips, and tools. We have our best practices. I'm sure you have yours. Even the one-man teams have great ideas, thoughts, and best practices. We like to hear about them. We don't want to reinvent the wheel, and I don't think you should have to either. The ultimate goal, probably through the task force, is for us to start sharing best practices, tips, tools, and even resources, right? So the third thing I'm going to talk about is working with the state of Illinois, the Do It group, the Department of Information Technology, and their CrowdStrike licenses. For those of you who have not taken advantage of it, you should. So state of Illinois is offering free licenses to all Illinois cities and counties for CrowdStrike Falcon. Originally it was the EDR, but it's the MDR solution that it's the Managed Detection and Response solution. They have a SOC 24/7, 365. Why not take advantage of it, right? So we here at DuPage County, we were allocating between $300,000 to $1 million for a MDR solution. We were going to do an RFP, and thankfully the states, they stepped up and said, hey, we have a solution if you guys are interested. We've taken advantage of it. We've deployed it to all of our systems here, and most of the other IT organizations that are not under county control, they have also installed a CrowdStrike on their system. So it's a great resource for you to have. It's available. We have additional information, and I'm going to do a follow-up after this conversation, but I will send the flyer that they sent us. Jerry Joel from the state of Illinois and Lonnie Crowder are the two contacts. I have their contact information, and I'll share it with you guys. But if you're interested, maybe you currently have a current provider and you're not interested now, when that contract expires, it may be a good option for you to take advantage of it. Michelle can, I hate to put you on the spot, Michelle, but I will, I always do. She can weigh in on kind of our experience with it. So you have an idea, but it's working well for us so far, so good. There are some tweaks in the escalation process, some tweaks in communication that we're working with them to improve. And I think if more of you guys get on, we have a bigger collective body to kind of push them harder to help us improve those things. But it's been a success for us so far. So Michelle, and then James, I saw your hand go up.
And this will be the last thing I'll say, I promise. I don't talk a lot. But CrowdStrike, I love the program. I love the concept of the program. And it sounds like you guys are taking advantage of that. My only concern with that is, I'm a controller. I want to be in control of my environment and what goes on. So what is your experience? Because, I don't know anyone intimately that has been using it. So I want to ask you, what's your experience not having all of the control of how you want to manage your environment with that solution?
Yeah, so that actually was one of the things that was kind of difficult to give up, was that full control. But we do, one of the original concerns was that we wouldn't have uninstall rights, that we would have to go through them for the uninstall keys. But in our console, we can actually generate our own uninstall keys if we need them, which that was the bulk of my concern personally. Otherwise we do have like full read-only access, so we can see everything that they can see. So that took a lot of the uncertainty out of it, and really other than, because since they are responding, like they're doing response to whatever pops up there, they would be doing that anyway. It wouldn't fall to us necessarily. So just having the visibility made me feel a lot better about it. And, they do the remediation anyway, so there wouldn't really be a lot that we could do there.
So what's the response time? If something comes in, someone clicks on something, CrowdStrike detects it.
Yes.
How quick is Do It's time to get back to you to say you have a problem on that machine?
Depending on criticality, if it's critical, then they'll respond to it almost immediately. If it's kind of like a lower criticality or they're not sure. I know our state's attorney, they'll generate a lot of errors just based on some of the software that they use, just because it's not widely known software. They're one-off video players, things like that. Then they'll actually come and check with us first. They'll be like, hey, is this expected? Because it's not really throwing signs that it's a bad program, but at the same time, they're not exactly sure. So they'll check with us, usually within a couple hours.
And what about the 3 folders for Hexagon that you can't scan? Do they do the provisions for that so it doesn't scan those folders?
Yeah, I believe that we did put, we can ask them for whitelisting. We can tell them, hey, don't, like just permanently ignore these, things like that. It's very handy.
Yeah, we actually had an example of that. John Peoples, Village of Bartlett. I was using the Angry IP scanner to scan some IPs, and I mean, blam, blocked. The next day, we got an email from, Denuit people saying, hey, we saw that this was blocked, and I was like, yeah, that was me. Would you please allow it?
Yeah.
But it did come in the next day, and they did whitelist it, and I was able to use the application. The only issues I've had with the application is we don't have access to all the packages that they offer. Like, I like to know what USB drives are being plugged into computers. If I could get rid of USB drives, I'd be very, very happy. Yeah, but it'd be nice to be able to say, block all the USBs except for these ones that we actually allow, or we can see the hardware, we lost access to all of that when we went with the DuPage program.
Okay.
So it'd be real nice if we can get access to more of that.
And maybe we can use this body to ask them.
Sure.
To make some adjustments and changes. I'm sorry. So John, thank you. You did the right thing, and not to say anything against you guys who haven't, but can you say your name for the people online? They don't know who's talking, your name and what city or village you're from when you speak.
Jacob, Glendale Heights. It's actually really good to know that you have full access to the uninstall keys.
Yes.
Because that was, we wrote it off. We met with the state, and it's like, we can't even take this thing off a computer without their involvement. I was like, no, not even. But if we have that ability to at least go, okay, this isn't working for us on this machine, we're just gonna move past it for now. I'll probably reach out to them this week.
Yeah, I was gonna say, they don't necessarily advertise that. And, but when we were doing our testing, I was like, well, I don't want to blast this out to 50 machines and then have to send, 50 instance IDs over to them and, get all those keys back. So dug around in the console a little bit and actually came across where those keys are kept. We had access to them, so.
Okay, yeah, that makes a big difference, so.
Can I ask how, Lynn, before you make your comment, can I ask how many people are currently using the state's CrowdStrike? 4 people. Anybody online?
No.
No.
CrowdStrike, but not through the state.
Not through the state.
Next budget cycle, I think.
I have a question, Brad, with Orbis. And I think it's great that after, trying to convince village administrators for the last 10 years that they need to do something more than malware bites, that state is funding things and putting it through. I'm a little disappointed for the municipalities like our customers that already have a security stack in place, have gone through all the whitelisting, have lived with all the issues, are happy with their providers, that they're not being reimbursed for any of that. It's like they're being punished. So I don't know if that's something maybe we could bring up with them, but I get they cut a deal with CrowdStrike, but it's kind of like, you're leaving those that did well for the last 10 years out in the cold.
Yeah, I'll just say on behalf of County IT, as a collective body, we have the ability to now start going to these organizations to let them know how we feel as a collective organization. And because we're doing it as a collective body, we carry more weight that way, right? So the county versus 39 municipalities makes a huge difference. So we can definitely do that. We can put together a letter, we can send it to them and then reach out to them. No promises, right?
Yeah.
What they can do. We don't we have no control of the state and their funding, so I'm not sure what we can do, but we can at least voice that concern to them directly.
The other concern is obviously it's grant money, and it runs out in 3 years, and everybody's hopeful that it's going to continue. But I mean, I've seen a lot of free government programs come along and they disappear and then you're stuck holding the bag. So it's just something you got to keep in the back of your mind that, you know, it's not guaranteed it's going to be there in 3 years.
That's a great point. Yes, sir.
James Earl, Village of Bolingbrook. I like the point that he's making, because it is a free resource and it's not going to be there forever. And me personally, and this is, I'm not trying to change anyone's mind about it, but I would not go to CrowdStrike because I have a great relationship with my organization and I keep increasing my budget accordingly. And cybersecurity is one of the things that allows me to continue to increase my budget. If I say anything about cybersecurity, oh, the mayor and everybody else, they're concerned, they're afraid. So this gives me the ammunition to put in the monies that I need. Because if I start talking about free and I don't need to put this in my budget, then my organization might say, oh, okay, that's good, because now we can start decreasing the budget that you already, that's already limited. So that's kind of, I look at it like with a double-edged sword. So I understand those concerns, because how long are they going to be able to provide that? Because a new administration might come in and say, guess what? It's back in your lap. And then now we're forced to go to our organizations and ask for the money again.
Well, and you're always looking for the new thing and the better thing, right, James? So next thing you know, something's better than CrowdStrike, but you don't have the budget for it because you gave it up because CrowdStrike was free, right?
Innovative.
It's a good point. So I think that different organizations will do different things depending on, their budgets and their boards and what their board's expectations are. Here we are, they like to say fiscally conservative. I like to say something else, a little cheap. But we look for opportunities to save money. And I think as a collective body, we can start pulling together talking points to help you and to help others to go back to your boards to support you when you need your support, right? Yeah. And if you have the collective data from us that says, hey, if you don't pay for this, here's the potential fallout for that goes a long way too, right? And that's what we use, right? So look at the organizations who've been hit with ransomware, how much they've had to pay in either a ransom or to try to just recover, right? So they pay even more to recover. People don't realize behind the scenes. So completely understand. And if you can't take advantage of it, it's just a resource out there. Throughout this entire committee, my goal and my hope is, I would say my hope is that we just share stuff like that, right? Whether you use it or not, it's up to you. But sometimes people aren't aware. Like, it's great that you guys are completely aware of CrowdStrike, but there may be other grants, there may be other funding opportunities. I want us to share it out to each other. And if you can take advantage of it, take advantage of it. Any other thoughts before we move off of cybersecurity? So I think the big takeaways here is that we're going to create our task force. It sounds like enough of you are behind that idea. We're going to work with GMIS to make sure we're a part of theirs as well. We're going to start through that task force, start sharing best practices, any tips and tricks that you guys have in your environments. And if you have any free tools or inexpensive tools you like to share or share with the group, please do so. And then last but not least, we encourage you to take advantage of the CrowdStrike application if you want to. So I just thought it was a great resource. It helped us save hundreds of thousands of dollars up to potentially $1 million. We were getting quotes from organizations before we did a formal solicitation, and one was 1.2 million, I think, and another one was 350, one was 500. They were all over the place. But we know it would have been very expensive and it would have been a big ding to our budget. So it's working well for us right now. Yeah. And we're going to push them so that it continue to work well. And we run into issues, we're going to push back. All right. So moving on, unless anybody else has any comments.
I do have a question. This is Kevin Goethals at Village of Lombard.
Kevin.
Just in the sharing best practices, tips and tools, I think sharing incident response plans, security policies, things like that, and just trying not to reinvent the wheel, and so that cities within the county are more like consistent across the county. I think that would be extremely helpful. I think sometimes it's just hard to try and come up with that stuff on your own. You're kind of just reaching in all different places to grab stuff. But if we had something that was uniform across the county, I think that would be extremely helpful.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, and you're absolutely right. So, And sometimes it helps you reinforce what you have in place is the right thing, right? So you may even actually have the right things in place, but it helps you reinforce that you thought through it and it's solid, so.
Absolutely.
Okay, anyone else? And sorry about that, Kevin, I didn't see in your hand. Anyone else online that I may have missed? All right, great conversation about cybersecurity, IT security. Artificial intelligence, so I mentioned that one earlier. It's a big thing for us. So what I want to share with you guys is that we are working on implementing a policy for DuPage County on AI. We've taken our time to do research. We've reached out to other county organizations, other government organizations. We didn't rush, right? We wanted to cross the T's and dot the I's. Once we complete it, we'll share that with you guys so you can take a look at it. We'd love to see what you all have in place as well. But I also wanted to share with you all that we have an AI planning committee. All right, AI planning committee consists of not just IT, but also the business, right? The people who actually will be impacted by AI are on that committee to help us understand what are the different activities and processes that they have in place that AI can help them benefit from, right? They can benefit from AI from. So it has helped us a lot. We have our clerk of the circuit court. We have the Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management part of it, and many, many more who are part of it who actually give us direct input on that technology. So there are 4, and I'm forgetting them. I'm going to defer to Debbie and Shanita. We have 4 subcommittees. One is on security and policies, right?
Right.
Second one is on recommendation and technology. The third one, that's the one I'm forgetting.
RPA.
Okay, RPA. So RPA isn't technically generative AI. It's not quite there, but we include it. And we feel that there are some items that it may make sense to use RPA. We did before. I think we're going to probably phase it out because the generative AI is moving in a great direction for us. So robotics process automation, I probably should have said that for those of you who don't know what RPA is. But we have a subcommittee for that, and we have one final.
Training.
Thank you. Training and education. So we have 4 subcommittees that meet regularly to really focus on those areas of AI. Again, it's worked very well with us, especially partnering with our business partners in that process. I will actually hand it over to our AI committee lead. So Debbie DC, who's our web services manager, you met, and Shanita Thompson, who's in charge of operation. They actually co-chair our AI committee. So Debbie and Shanita, anything you want to add?
I believe Shanita was gonna talk.
Okay.
So some of our, well, hello, everybody again. Some things that we did want to point out too, that we are in the process with our AI policy and guideline that's spearheaded by our own Michelle Monty, the cybersecurity analyst. We have that being reviewed from what I responded. I think that's where we are currently, right, Michelle? Yep. So we are actually in that process to, like Anthony said, to get that guideline in place. Some of our current activities, we actually sat down and started getting demos for chatbots to use on our website. Debbie and her team is spearheading that one. We are also in the process of doing our RPA purchase to have like a small purchase with UiPath was the software that we decided after seeing multiple demos. That is the software package that we are leaning toward and going through the procurement process with currently. And finally, with our Zendesk, which is our service desk tool, we have turned on the AI features that come with that particular licensing that we have. It has ChatGPT built into it, as well as our intelligent triage, which gives us a summary of what the tickets are, and maybe if we can put automatic or automation behind it to automatically assign tickets to help with our service desk.
So thank you, Shanita. So those are some of the things that we are currently doing in the AI space. We are also considering creating a task force for AI if you guys are interested. So anyone interested in potentially partnering on AI?
Or does anyone have a good use case that they've done already? That'd be interesting.
My term paper for college.
So we're a Google shop, Glen with the Village of Westmont, but we do have Gemini paid licenses in-house that we are utilizing AI for simple stuff right now, meeting minutes, being able to take documents and reduce the size of the documents, little stuff like that that we're playing with right now, but it has worked out really well for committee meeting minutes and synopsis, quick recaps on them, so.
And I don't think we've considered that one. So we've considered quite a bit, but.
Yeah, it's actually taken the admins, it's taken about a day's worth of work off their plate, so.
Can I ask one question to everyone? Yeah. We are looking at, or we just, I got approved for Placer, AI. And that's kind of an artificial intelligence tool to monitor foot traffic and how many people are in certain, locations at a certain, period of time. So I don't know if that, has to do with this AI. I don't understand all of it, but are there anybody in the room? Is there anybody in the room that uses something like Placer AI or Placer? Okay. And so have you heard of, or no? So, okay. Because again, we have a lot of festivals and a lot of things that we have going on throughout our community. We want to know how many people are at a certain event, how many people came to this concert, and then we're going to use that for economic development, where now we can market this to incoming businesses or potential corporate organizations. So I think it sounds like a great tool. I just don't understand how I know it has AI behind it, and we don't have policies in place for AI. So I'm not afraid, but I know that I don't want to get in trouble with the state or government when when you're supposed to have certain requirements or compliance when it comes to AI.
So I'm glad you brought that up. So not about this specific technology, but this use case. So this is a great example of how the AI task force could help you, right? Mm-hmm. So you come to the task force with an idea, task them with doing some research, looking at best practices, policies, and then they can come back to all of our entire organization to say, hey, this is our recommendation, right? Whether you take it or leave it, but at least you would have that information, some of that background.
Right.
That's a great point. Yes, sir.
Jacob, the only thing that I would mention is the big thing that I would be concerned about would be what their service does to recognize people, because of BIPA. Yeah.
And those are the things that kind of ran through my mind. I'm like, oh, they did this without my approval. Obviously, man, how can they do that? I talked to the CIO, but we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
So
sure, that's a good point. So, and then it seems like
just real quick, James, does that utilize a camera then? And then it's doing a count on that's how I've seen it done in the past, but just on a more closed system. I didn't know. Do you have multiple cameras maybe around the park area or something that it's pulling from?
I would have to do more research, but I don't think it relies on a camera. So I don't know how they're pulling this data, but again, I was not part of that decision, unfortunately, but I do want to understand it, because ultimately when something goes wrong, who are they going to call?
Right, but yeah.
Ghostbusters.
Joe Hamlin, it could be cell phones. I know previously, around, and Nick, you might help me out with this. I don't know if it was Choose DuPage or who did the Frida exhibit? Because they came and they talked. They came in here and they did a presentation at, I think, Economic, and they talked about how they were able to do something like this where they saw people come to the event and then they could see that they stayed, in Glen Ellen and went to the restaurant and they went here and stayed there. So maybe it's similar, like a cell phone tracking.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I actually went and I just looked on their webpage. It collects geolocation and proximity data from devices. So, yeah.
Tom Miller, Village of Oak Park, we use it because, we have this great mall right down the street. And it's a heat map of of how much traffic we get during the day around 22nd Street and stuff like that. So it's actually very vital to our analyzing our economic development and stuff. And then we use a second AI, is Otter AI, where we upload audio from our meetings and it transcribes it for our clerk, just like Westmont. So we use two different AIs. And then we did have a presentation the other day about Copilot, which is Microsoft's new toy, which looks really, really great, where you could do a meeting like this, and as soon as you say your name, it'll populate the minutes and verbatim of a meeting. Problem is they're not offering it to G3 licenses yet. So there's the issue there.
Yeah. Yeah, Richard.
Just one thing to point out with Otter AI is read the privacy. Because there basically isn't anything that they record, they can share with whomever they want, so.
It's an open meeting, so
Yeah, if
it's
it's
voyable,
fine,
so,
but if,
yeah.
yeah, but.
We have no concerns with that because it's an open meeting.
Gotta watch out for executive session though.
Those should not be verbatim.
Or chit chat before and after.
Good stuff. This is kind of stuff we want to share for sure. So those are two tools that we have not talked about in our committee. I'd love to find out more about. You know, we have a lot of things at the what is that called? The ground, fairgrounds. The fairgrounds where we have we had the barbecue fest thing, and we have a lot of other activities. It would be great if we could trace those people, what they do, if they stay with the DuPage County, Wheaton, or all over the place. I like that a lot.
I'd like to throw one in too. Like, we came up with an idea. Actually, I thought about using a voiceover AI, because we have some people that read notes, minutes. In Glendale Heights, it's really hard to make out what they're saying. So there are tools out there that will read professionally, like, and you can get licenses to use actually actors' voices or whatever. So that's something we're kind of looked at, and they kind of laughed at me, but
no, that's great.
if you listen to a board meeting, sometimes you can't make out anything that they're reading.
I agree. Yeah, for the record. Awesome. Yeah, it's working already. We haven't even started the task force. I love it. All right. So got to move on. So we have had some great conversation, but we're starting to run long. Any other thoughts, comments about AI? So takeaways there. We're going to share best practices and meet as well by forming an AI task force. We'll assign somebody to lead it and give us updates when we have our meetings. Okay. All right, moving on. County Shared Services, and I'm going to defer to Tom and Don in a second, but essentially we have shared services through our GIS team where we support organizations that don't have GIS support. Right. So if you are one of those organizations, we want to hear from you. We have limited reason. We provide a service right now that is project-based only. So if you have a project with start date, end date, we can support you. If you want supplemental support, we're not doing that anymore, but we're considering it depending on your input, right? If there's enough municipalities that are interested in having a part-time person provided by the county who goes out to support it, we will consider that because we can go to the board and ask for additional resource. Of course, we'll ask you to help us pay for it. So that's essentially what we cover now. Tom, I don't know if you want to add anything additional.
Yeah, just how it works is what we do is if you have a special project, what we do is we meet with you and go through what your needs are. And then we look at my staff and sit down with them and figure out what the hours would be. And what the hours go towards is reimbursement of county staff, and then there's a multiplier for the benefits end of it. So what we do is we look at the hours, we can always pad the hours and do a not to exceed. So then when that goes through, we give you the work order or the scope of work. Look at it, we both agree on it, then we work with the state's attorney and your village attorney to come up with a intergovernment agreement that's passed, and then we start the work. So that's kind of how it works. Some of the examples we've done, we did a Lyle Woodridge Fire District for their they do every 3 years, they have to do an assessment report of drive times out of fire stations and all that. So we did all that analysis for them that went into that report. We're working with the Forest Preserve District. We did their interactive trail map application through Esri's Experience Builder. And now we're working with them for their portal. They have all desktops, ArcGIS desktops with users, and they want to get those off of the just general users because they're not doing analysis. They're just looking at data. So they want to do it, put that in their portal. We're hoping them bring up their ArcGIS portal so they can distribute that to each desktop to each user there in the Forest Preserve. So if you have any questions, I'll be able here to answer.
All right. And the second service isn't quite a service, it's a consortium, but I wanted you all to be aware of it. So we provide police records management support of the police records management system for about 32 agencies throughout DuPage County. The product that we use is Hexagon. We've used them for some years. We're in the process of reevaluating the product. We want to renegotiate and try to bring costs down where we can, improve the application if we can by either implementing a newer application or a different application. So for any of your agencies who are interested and you'd like to be part of a consortium at some particular time and you're not, I think Naperville, Aurora, Bartlett, I think are not currently a part of it, and there's a few others. We're encouraging you to do so. But we have decided to issue an RFP for a new records management system. And that means that consortium, that body of agencies will pick the solution that works best for them and at the best price point, right? And with the best specific details and functionality that they're looking for. So Don Aaron who I'll let speak if he has anything to say, is the manager of that group, and he's coordinating those conversations. Currently working with a lot of village managers now on the IGA to get people re-signed up for our consortium, and working with Hexagon on various different projects, and including upgrading the existing application. So Don, anything you want to add?
I think it's not a terribly complicated thing. It's police records management. I mean, conceptually, it's not. In practice, it is. There's a huge benefit from having this consortium. I've been in this role for about a year, and the fact that we have 32 agencies essentially, managing their records collectively at a county level, there's a big payoff in efficiency and the ability to sort of, interdepartmental communication. And we're actually working with some of the chiefs to improve the options for data-driven policing. We have a pretty powerful analytics engine that we're, refining. We're working toward, giving as much data as possible so that people can, efficiently police and keep communities safe. And I am working with GIS to, sort of refine and consolidate the data analytics for crime through the county.
Thank you, Don. Yeah.
I just wanted to add, we are.
Say your name.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bob Walters, Village of Glendale Heights. We are partnered with MGP. I do want to point out there's a kind of an interesting relationship between GIS and PRMS. We have nothing but difficulty trying to map and plot any data from our PRMS system, which we do use Hexagon. So whatever changes we make, it's super critical that we are able to plot and use that data in concert with our GIS systems. So right now, we're being told that it's a difficult thing that we could pull 1 or 2 reports. We want a perfectly working relationship between those two systems.
Absolutely. We actually have a solution for you. So Tom, you want to talk about
We do have a solution. We have it with the sheriff's office, and we're pulling internally right now for the public end. We show just the calls that come in from the sheriff's office. We do have all the data for all the participating municipalities that participate in the RMS system. We just don't want to take it, and put your data out there without your permission. It's there. It's if you want to see the portal, I can send it to you that the public facing looks at, but what it is it works with the ESRI hub technology. And through the initiative, the public sees something, but then there's a login for organizations that open up more detailed information. So if officers want to do, we've got a crime statistic analysis, we've got a
That is
general daily
everything
call,
that we've ever wanted.
daily call. We also have what does a 10-year average, so it looks at spikes in crimes in certain areas. So you can break it down by the beat, by the crime, the date, the time.
Oh, that is amazing. We definitely want some of that action.
Yeah. If you want a demo, let me know and I can set up.
Give them a rose now.
I can set it up with the officers.
Yeah, Kevin, Village of Lombard, I definitely went in on that action too.
Yeah, Kevin, I'm sorry. Can you say it again?
Yeah, Kevin, Village of Lombard, I definitely went in on that action.
Yeah, wow.
And if I can add to
Wait your
that.
turn, Kevin.
We're actually working with GIS department to leverage the analytics section of PRMS and essentially combine the two. So you can have a little bit more insight on the police side within your organization's portal.
That is outstanding.
Yeah, so, and for those of you who are interested and you just want to take a look, you can go to our website. It's under our transparency section. It's called the DuPage County Crime Stat, and I'm sorry, Police Transparency and Crime Stat Portal. So, and so your citizens can go out now. Again, we only have the sheriff's data, thanks to Jason and his team. Who've been working with us from day one. I think it's been about 1.5 years now on that piece. And we are working to open it up to more municipalities, but we have to get approval. And we're waiting for some of the police chiefs to give us approval. So we may have to get your police chief to just give us approval.
Oh, I think he'll be all in, yeah.
Okay, all right. All right, Kevin.
Yeah, quick question. What is the timeline for the RFP?
RFP we'll start the process in September of this year. And I am guessing it'll probably take at least 3 months, 3 to 4 months to complete. So we're going to try.
Are there any contenders right now that you guys are looking at, or?
We're not. So
Okay.
Hexagon is the incumbent, of course, that, you know, they're going to submit. Axon, which Addison uses, and there are a lot of other agencies, Axon and Addison has pushed us to look at other stuff, but it's a good thing. So Axon is another product that they have a new RMS system. It's Hexagon's has been around for a long time. Axon is very new, but based on their demos to the different agencies, they like what they see, right? It looks like a good product. The big plus about Axon that I will say is that at some point, we all may want to look at it because of police cameras and the tasers, right? You can connect that data and pull that data into the system, especially the photos from the cameras. And I think that's a big plus, probably why Addison and others are looking at them as well. But those are the big two that we are aware of. We're sure that there are others out there. So we're opening it up to all, right? We want everyone to submit. If you can meet the requirements, submit proposals. We're going to look at them all. We'll have a big committee to help us make that selection. It's really going to be the consortium. Yes.
Great, thank you.
I'm going over. How long have you been with Hexagon?
2017 years when the project started.
Because I'm short time.
2017.
The short time I've been in DuPage, I was in Barrington for 20 years. The short time I've been here, I'm not impressed with the product. So
I've heard that before and we acknowledge it. So let me say this, not the first time we've heard that. We acknowledge that. But let me say a couple things about Hexagon. Number one, because we've been with them for since 2017, they've been able to address a lot of our needs as a collective body. So the solution that we have in place is uniquely customized to how we work as an organization, right? Number two, the application that is currently used is not great, right? But they have a new product that we are in the process of upgrading to, a cloud-based solution called MFR and OCR 10. Those two solutions go.
I just wanted to, it's not cloud-based, it's web-based.
Web-based, I'm sorry. Yeah, I did say it's web-based, it's not a cloud solution, that's right. So, thank you for correcting that. But anyway, so they have a better solution with a better look and feel, will help the officers specifically in the car. They don't like the application that they currently use today, and it replaces that. So,
And just as a side note, this afternoon, they're offering a demo of the new products on Teams.
Yeah.
I don't know, I can get that. It's been sent out.
yeah, we'll send it out to all of you guys. Everybody's included. We've already invited your village managers. It probably didn't get down to everyone. So we'll send out to this group so you have access. We actually have an in-person one too, and 2 weeks after
On the
that, right?
16th, yeah.
On the 16th. So we encourage you to take a look at it. And this is of the newest version of Hexagon. So not what we currently have. What we currently have is very old, but we want to replace it. We're in the process of replacing it. The question has come up many times, why haven't you guys upgraded? Because we could have. We're trying to take our time and do it right. When you're dealing with 32 agencies versus one, it's way more complex, right? So you have a direct impact on 32, other organizations. So we're taking it slow. We're involving all 32 of the agencies to come in, test it, make sure it's configured correctly, to have direct input on it. So that's why it's taking a little bit of time.
I'm probably the only one in the room that was part of the original CAD group back in the day. Hexagon CAD was chosen, which also led into the RMS because of the technical integration and all the information that flows from CAD and everything going into an RMS system. It made sense to go with Hexagon. Again, the product in the end didn't turn out great, but all that built in to start at a big point of change back in 2015, 16. It took 2 years to even get to that point to get off Moto. So it was a big leap at the time as well.
Thanks. So, all right, any other questions about the shared services? So any other services that you guys are interested that we don't offer that you potentially would like to have in place?
So just even also with the shared service, yes, it's to help out those small organizations, but also if you have a GIS person there who doesn't know a certain programming technology or develop a certain application, we can also come in and assist them there. So it's not just you don't have GIS, but if you're looking at something, okay, you know what, this person doesn't have the knowledge, but maybe county staff does, so we can come in and assist that person as well. Scotty.
So you're a revenue generating operation here.
No.
Wow.
We're just trying to help.
I want to follow them up.
All right. All right, we're gonna move on. Again, we have a short period of time and lots to talk about. Last but not least, I'm gonna actually turn it over to Debbie DC to talk about NAGWA and the DOJ rule and
Thank
membership.
you. I'll make it quick. So if you didn't know, last week, Wednesday, the DOJ finally adopted a final rule to make state and local governments and mobile apps more accessible to people with disabilities. Now, they've already had a rule for the federal government for years, but it never came down to the state and local. So this rule requires that state and local governments comply with WCAG 2.1 levels A and AA by April 2026 for those with more than 50K residents, and with less than 50K residents, you get 3 years. So that would be April 2027. This not only includes your own websites and your own application, but it includes third-party applications and social media posts. So I'm also on the board of NAGWA, which is the National Association of Government Web Professionals. We are creating a working group for this, and we will be creating a series of webinars and workshops on how to handle this thing going forward. And I passed out a little handout, and I will send it to people online and give it to the other people that are sitting on the outside here with information on how to join and a little bit about the rule. If you have any questions, you can contact me. My contact information is there. NAGWA is a great organization. It's been around for 20 years. Tomorrow, we're actually having a webinar on intranets, an interactive webinar. So if you want to learn about intranets or show your cool intranet, even though ours is super old on SharePoint 2010, we are getting ready to upgrade it to our Zendesk platform, which will be a real interesting thing. And that's all I wanted to say about the rule and NAGWA.
Thank you, Debbie. Any questions?
I'm Gillard Oper. What does it cost to join NAGWA?
$225 a person, but you could also you could also get a multi-agency. So if you have more than, like, we have a team of 5, you can get up to 5 licenses for a discount. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's cheaper.
Okay, great resource. We take advantage of it, so encourage any of you guys who are aware of it to at least do some research and get to know it better. And B, if you need that kind of support, please join and they can use it. Before I move off of this page, I want to go back up to AI. I forgot to mention one big thing. So our AI committee is also working with a AI company to do a assessment. So do a pilot. They're going to come in and really ask questions about your AI capabilities, current processes, and try to figure out what the best use cases are within your organization. They're willing to open it up to additional municipalities. We kind of push them to see if they could do it. It's a free exercise. So if any of you are interested, let us know. Let Debbie Deasy know specifically. There's a limited number of agencies that we can probably add. So try to send her a note as quickly as you can to let us know if you're interested. So Debbie, anything miss that you want to add?
No, I think that's.
Okay, yeah. So they'll come out, interview you, try to figure out what your existing processes is and how you can use AI to improve those processes. And then it'll produce a document or something for you. All right, so that is it for collaboration opportunities. So I'm going to move on to the last item, the next to last item on our agenda. Like I said earlier, unfortunately, Craig Diekman, who's the director of the Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management here within DuPage County, he wanted me to let you know that he truly regret being here. For those of you who don't know Craig, he's a super sharp guy. He loves people. He's a former CIO, so he loves technology. So we partner a lot on quite a few things. But he wanted you to know that his organization is hosting a workshop with the National Weather Service. He has over 100 participants over in his office, so that's why he couldn't make it today. But he did want to share this information that the Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management works with local, state, federal, and non-governmental organizations and private sector to partner and support and coordinate all phases of emergency management. This includes prevention, preparedness, mitigation, response, and recovery. And it applies to all hazards. So natural, human cause, technological, and others. So that may occur in DuPage County and the region, ranging from tornadoes and cyber attacks. Cyber attacks also under his responsibility. So he wanted to know that these resources are here. So OHSEM has extensive resources that you can call on if you like. There is a person on duty when you need some emergency support. The number is 630-682-7207, as you can see up there. So you can contact that number. There are other services, Protect DuPage. You can, yep, sorry.
Go ahead. I got something to add.
Okay.
The service that we have with emergency management.
Yeah, not a problem. I'll let you chime in a second. So emergency preparedness, extensive resources for radio, networking, cellular, satellite, and VoIP. And then Protect DuPage is also a great resource, so he wants you to take advantage of it. He will be here at our next meeting, and he will go into some of those services in more detail so that you're aware of them and that you're taking full advantage of it. I will also share his memo that he wrote for you in my response to you so that you have this information, you have that contact information, and you can follow up with him if you'd like to, if you need any support in these areas. So, Tom Ricker also had a comment.
Yeah, what we also do is with GIS, we have damage assessment that we work with OEM with. They're through Survey 123 through Esri. We've got one that's under the state format for flood and non-flood. So it's in their format that they want right away. For instance, the Addison tornado that we did, Craig called us in. We set up the surveys in the morning. Teams went out, saw live information coming back from the teams. We have a dashboard that shows up so you can start seeing with photos of the actual damage that are linked to the points in the GIS. We were able to bring that dashboard up. They got all the data back in the afternoon and we were able to upload it down to Springfield that afternoon. So that is available too. So through that, so if you have an emergency tornado comes through, flood or whatever, we have that resource that those surveys on a tablet or a phone can go out and bring that back in and get that down to Springfield right away. So that's available.
Wow. Great resources, great individuals, great services that they provide through OHSEM. They're going to be part of this roundtable committee, so you'll hear more for them. And but if you have information, reach out to Craig whenever you have an opportunity to introduce yourselves. But he'll be around more. He's also going to participate along with OHSEM. Will participate in the cybersecurity task force. All right, that's all I have. I've done a lot of talking, as you can tell, I like to talk. But I'm going to open it up now to open discussion. I apologize. I wanted to give you all more time to share what's going on in your areas, but it's completely up to you, this section of the agenda. So let us know what's on your mind. So are there any, let us know how you feel about this first meeting, how you feel about us continuing. Because I see so many people in the room, I think we need to probably have a regular cadence, quarterly at a minimum, where we get together and we talk. If you guys agree, we'll set it up. We'll put it on the calendars quarterly. We can get together, meet and talk more often. And then, if there's anything technological that's going on in your respective spaces that you want to share with the group, we'd love to hear. So I'll shut up and open it up to the group if there's anything you guys have.
Hey, Anthony, it's Jeff Davies at the Circuit Clerk's office. I just wanted to just mention for the entire group, because I know everyone, a lot of all of you involved, just want to put a thank you out to all the IT leaders and all the municipalities with our release of our e-citation system. Really feel like we've done a good job to get it out there and a pretty smooth release. I know there was a few hiccups, but overall, I think we did a great job, and the feedback coming from the agencies was awesome. If anyone has any other thoughts or wishes, since it is a self-developed system that we built, if anyone has any comments or anything, please reach out to us at the clerk's office. Happy to hear.
Thanks, Jeff. Anybody else?
Tony from Bloomingdale. I think this is a great committee to have, but quarterlies, that sounds great for me, but the gaps in between, I know James, you're gonna love this. GMIS has a Slack channel that we can all communicate in case of an emergency, or like, hey, what did you do with this? How'd you solve this problem? Is there any conversation about having a resource like that for this group?
No, we potentially can, and Don Aaron is going to share with you money.com, a way that we can set it up and share it with you. One of the things we are going to do is set up some subcommittees after this, like those task force. They'll meet more frequently than we will as the bigger body. Bigger body will get together, talk about general things. The smaller task forces or subcommittees will get together regularly as needed to kind of work through some of the details that we talk about. And Don, you want to talk about Monday?
Yes, I promise we did not rehearse this, but Anthony knows me well enough that if I raise my hand, I'm going to talk about monday.com. Typically it's used as a project management platform, but it's actually a phenomenal place to sort of consolidate communication about tasks and things like that. We internally, we use hundreds of boards to great effect. That's how we communicate with the police departments and everything like that. There's also pretty robust Slack integration if that's if it needs to be a more conversational platform, we can easily build that in there. It's a good place to keep resources and materials as well, so that we all have sort of a common knowledge base. And I'm happy to set that up and put it together.
James Feller. Yeah, Slack, as you mentioned, how we utilize it. So we have a general government Slack where all 130 CIOs, IT directors, whoever it is throughout the whole state, we communicate literally from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock during the day, asking about problems and pain points and how we resolve things. But we have several channels under there. Whereas we have a channel specific for cybersecurity. We have a channel specific for ERP. We have a channel, so everything for public safety. And that's kind of been our lifeblood for how we do things in our organizations. And we know we have the CIO of Peoria, which is very new. She said she could not have been successful in her job without, having that, because she came from California, San Diego, which I don't know why she left San Diego to come to Peoria. But having, so with that said, having something, this is too new but just thinking about having something like that he mentioned so that we can all collaborate, because we're all trying to solve the same issues.
Yeah.
There's nobody doing anything unique. We're all suffering from the same problem. So to be able to talk real time with someone to help to solve those problems would be awesome.
I agree. No, I think that makes all the sense in the world. You and I will talk more and Tom to make sure that there's no overlap. We don't need redundancy. We all have a lot going on in our lives. So we'll try to streamline stuff as much as possible. And if there are things you guys have in place, we'll take advantage of and join you. Or if not, we'll develop something in-house. But thank you. Yeah. So anyone, I saw someone else's hand. No. Anyone else, any thoughts, anything you want to share?
I just wanted to say, I thought this was great. It's nice to see all these people that have been out there all along doing their own fighting and their own battles, and we're all in the same war.
Yeah.
So I really look forward to moving forward with this group and soaking up as much as I can, because we're tiny. We have 3 people, and you guys have been here all along, so thank you for doing this.
Thank you very much. All right, anybody online? I want to make sure I don't miss you guys. Well, I am not a person to hold people up. I want to thank you all for your participation. I think this was a great first meeting. Looking forward to meeting and working with you guys regularly going forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can we clap?